It's Jeep Momma here at LT Wright Knives in Ohio.
Those go on into the shop. Now it's always dusty. I'm not going to pretend like this is just a one-time thing. It's always dirty. There's nothing I can do about it.
That's the life of the shop, right?
Yeah. So this is kind of the end. This is our scoreboard where naturally to run a business you have to track what you do so that you can continue to bring money in and out of the business. So that's kind of what this is. Red wall is what we call a red wall. Our Pout House members know about that. This is our stock knives, some of the overflow, and they can call in. We have a form on the Pout House forum where they can fill it out and get specialty handles other than what you see on our website. So that's what the red wall form is all about.
Where do these come from?
These are our designs, and what I do is I buy the steel, and there's a company in New Philadelphia right now that does the water jet. If you're familiar with water jet working, they will blow the holes to, just the starter holes, and then give us the rough shape, and then we'll profile everything, drills the holes to the size that we want, and start from there on the grind. Custom one-off stuff. We have bandsaws in the back that we cut everything out here, and we'll do it from there. These are dealer orders waiting to get cleaned up. These happen to be some of our knives at bush tractors. They're roughed in, and they're in my section. So what we're doing now is we're taking them from this square and roughing in the actual shape of the handle. Generally on a weekly basis, we do anywhere from 150 to 200 finished knives.
This is way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. No, we're still very small though. So these are some of the grinders that I actually work on to do the handle shaping and get the sizes. Most of my stuff is a home-built grinder. The man who taught me how to build knives, R.W. Wilson, has built most of my machines that I use. This is our shop bot, and what we do is we sit and we'll make our handle patterns that we lay on the handles to drill the holes and different things. We also will rough cut the handle so that we don't have to do as much bandsaw work on the stuff that our production work. This is our sharpening section right through here. Adam's actually sharpening a knife right now. Build table, and basically what happens on the build table is we have all of our lanyard holes, our nuts and bolts. This is majority of our knives will get actual stainless steel screw and a brass nut. And when they're put together and then they're ground off, they get a fisheye effect. We'll use a two-part epoxy, and we also have which is a marine grade. Yeah, we have a super duper super glue, and it's a gap filling super glue that we use for different stuff. We have a bunch of different drill presses. Don't like to change drill bits. You work in a machine shop, you know exactly what I mean. Yep. So we just buy another drill press and put a bit in it.
Are you serious?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Do you buy a whole new one of these things?
Yes, because by the time we drill 1,000 holes, I don't want to have to change that bit. Now, when I say change, I mean for size. If they break, we change that size, but this takes an F bit, it stays an F bit.
Oh, okay. Yep. So you'll change this.
Oh, yeah, we change the actual drill bit.
Okay.
But as we're working down the process, we have a bank of drill
presses. So if you want a J bit, you buy.
It's in that machine.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
This is a bunch of other handle patterns that we have, and basically what's going on there is these will go on with a knife, and that's where we stop the front of the handle. So that's what that's set up, and then some more buffers and sanders. But this is where, we come down the room, depending on the size of drill bit, on the handles that we're drilling. Right now, they're not doing any handles at all. Adam's doing finish work, so he is taking some of the stuff like we had up front, and you saw that, where it's getting now shaped. That one, we're just now putting the shape on that. Grinders, and those are variable speed grinders that we use.
One person does each section. You don't.
Most of the time, we kind of have our specialty. Each one of these guys can do everything, but we have our specialty spots. And again, we build X number of knives a week, so that's the way we have it set up.
Right.
Yeah. So he set up drilling, and then back to it. Working on a knife right now. This is a Scandi bush knife, so he's actually putting this edge on there. All of them are done. So this is after we heat treat it. We rough it in before we heat treat them. After they're heat treated, then now he's putting on the final edge, and that's what he's doing right now. He's taking that machine and he's actually putting the cutting edge on there. And then we grind it fairly quick, and then we'll take it from there and put it on another. So this is our Kydex room. If you're familiar with Kydex, it's this hard plastic style material that we make for knives. So we put those on knives. So a lot of stuff we'll have some in here when the guys need Kydex, and we have this all worked out with Kydex. And then our laser machine, we actually laser logos, people's names, you know. So the whole kit setup, our idea behind that was basically a vehicle-based camping thing to start. You're not going to backpack with this naturally, but when you get somewhere, a lot of us like to eat well, right? So when we get out there and we're cooking with our scottles or whatever we have going on, we wanted to have a good quality set of gear. So we talked to Blue Ridge Overland Gear, and they made us this bag, and this bag is a great bag. So basically what you have here is it'll close up and zip all the way shut. And you can see it does have some molly on it, so if you had some things you wanted to molly to us, smaller knives or even that. But they also have Velcro in multiple places to where you can put different things. Like on the inside, on my particular kit, I have a bag, we have salt, pepper, extra spork, some things like that, or some spices, and you have that in a couple places. So we set the bag up in such a way, when it's shut, the two small knives, we have an extra Kydex clip, so when you're wheeling, these knives don't fall out. Now this, they can't fall out because there's just not enough distance, but you can see on the two small ones, it gives you solid lock. So when you get where you're going, you kind of get those undone the way you want, but this bag will also, you can just take it and hang it when you want to and access your knives. You can see how they're just sitting there to get access to. Okay, so the small one is a paring knife. This is one of my favorite knives, most used style knife. These all have a burlap micarta style handle on them, and this is that fisheye that I was showing you earlier that kind of it's a stainless bolt with a brass nut. These are all stainless, so they're easily cleaned up. Just wipe them down. The next knife in the kit, let me get that out, I got my hand in the wrong place, is the camp kitchen, is what we call the full-on camp kitchen. Okay, and that has the big chef style knife. Then the next one, this is one of my wife's favorites, is the Traveler. It's a really nice size knife. It works quite well. And then the last knife is what we call our large powder, which is just a generally nice size using knife for kitchen work. Been making them since late 2000. Been doing it full time since 2005.
So, or some people may say it's a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. I get it all the time when I go to shows. If you're looking for a good knife that's going to last you a lifetime, we're the company that one of the companies you would want to look for. Number one is that we're building them stuff here in the U.S. I try to source all of our materials U.S. if at all possible as well. Your supply, we supply about 12 families a good living. It's a trade that just doesn't come automatically. It takes a while for a guy to learn how to do a knife and get to fit and finish and grind the right thicknesses and all those things. So it's an art. It does take a while to do it. When we bring a guy in, I always tell him it's going to be about 10,000 knives before you can grind really, really well. Yeah. You know that. Materials, we try to use the best stuff that we can find. We have the Resitens and micartas made for us in Ohio, actually. We get our leather from Pennsylvania. We service, or we try to get our products, if we can't do it in-house, try to get them as local as we can. But it's a great thing, and again, we're putting out a handmade product that hopefully will last you a lifetime warranty, and it is a replace, repair, refund period. We want people to be happy, and we do stand behind them. You can call here anytime. Or we do what we call SPAL treatment. If you've had it for a year and you just want to get it touched up, send it in, pay shipping. Most of the time we can clean them right up for you and get them back out. But this is fun, man. I get to wake up and make knives every day. I mean, it's a good life.